The choice across the board, deny the herald is young, and your heart lays where the rebel.
Hello everybody, it's the Eric version. Here's the second installment of things I was scared of as a kid. For today's installment, be animatronics. Now, as a kid, I wasn't scared of the big giant animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese and Disney World and stuff. I actually found those quite fascinating. But the things I was more scared of was the smaller ones with poor sound quality, and especially things that could go off randomly. Let's go back to where it all started when I was about 5, something like that, 5 years old. And I was at my uncle's house, the same uncle who has the Cool Breeze fan, that my grandma had now, hopefully, and the 12-inch Sanyo desk fan and the Galaxy. I mean, the 9-inch Lasco Galaxy fan. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering a bit because I'm hungry. So it all started when I wanted to go down in his basement because he told me he had a fan down there, a box fan. So I decided to go in his basement and walk down the stairs. And I walked down the stairs, walked into the room, and I saw the old box fan. It looked like one of those old Lakewood Westinghouse box fans, if you know what I'm talking about. And I started to walk over to it, and then I heard this. I was startled by the Jimmy Industries Big Mouth Billy Bass, which obviously was not exciting. As a kid, my autism made me hate anything that could go off by itself. So, after a moment of hearing "Take Me to the River," I screamed like a little kid, running across the opposite end of the basement and going back up the stairs, which I don't know how to activate it because I believe they have a light sensor if it's anything like the Rocky Rainbow Trout that I own. But I ran across the basement and back up and closed the door, and which that really spooked me as a kid. I never liked that. I never liked anything animated after that, like anything like that. I was still okay with like the big units over at Chuck E. Cheese and stuff. Still found those quite cool. Another issue that came back was during Christmas. Yay, Christmas. This was actually the first time I ever had Christmas at my uncle's house. And he had a musical Christmas decoration that I hated as a kid. I actually have a few now in different variants that I absolutely love and enjoy. But as a kid, I actually had nightmares about this, believe it or not. I believe I had nightmares about this. It was the Jimmy Industries Snow Miser Spinning Snowflake Snowman. This was the rare variant, and wearing the green vest, the green peppermints, and the frosted snowflakes. Which I believe, I was told it is, I believe, the second rarest variant of the Spinning Snowflake Snowman. Maybe third rarest, right along to the French one that wears a red vest and has a blue base, and then another French one that is a blue peppermint, which looks like the red peppermint, but it's blue and it's French. But this is the rarest one that sings Snow Miser. The story behind it was my aunt won it at a raffle, and my young cousin loved it. She would, whenever I would be over there for Christmas, she would constantly be playing it. There's a video somewhere of her playing with it, and if I find that video at the end of the video, I will insert that clip in if I can find it and figure out how to edit it and stuff. But I will insert a picture here that I happen to find that I have on my phone of it. So you can kind of see what it looks like, and you can see how young my cousin was. I'm going to have to blur out her face for privacy reasons. But yeah, this thing was a thing I absolutely hated as a kid. I don't know what this is, but I found it on the shelf and I want to play with it because I like to fidget. But this thing, I remember it being ungodly loud, just like the Billy Bass. the sound quality on it sounded very, very scratchy, and it was horrible. To me, that sounded horrifying, which I grew up with a lot of very cheap radios, like the Durabrands and clock radios. My first radio was a cheap Toshiba radio, which I still have to this day. And the sound quality on that was absolute garbage. So I grew up with things that had bad sound quality, but nothing was as bad as the Snowman. It sounded horrible. It sounded like it was submerged in water, and someone picked it up, set it on a table, let it sit there for a few years, put batteries in it, and use it. But I believe they came stock that way, which is kind of interesting because a friend of mine who collects these items, he actually has a very similar model, and he says out of all the variants, the green peppermint and the blue peppermint, they have the best sound quality because they have the best speakers. I don't think it was the case with this one. I'm not sure if the little wimpy China Pride board was driving that speaker so hard to the point where it started to sound very scratchy, to the point like where it couldn't be used anymore. But yeah, that was the case. But I actually in recent years I had nightmares of it until actually owning one. Later on, I actually found a red peppermint plays peppermint twist at a thrift store for 50 cents. Well, it was, I think, $5, but they give it to me for 50 cents because it was broken. But I have that one now, and it wasn't that bad. And then eventually later on, I did get a Snow Miser, and then I gave that one to my cousin, who happened to love the green peppermint, because that one got thrown out, luckily. But I remember every single year, that thing terrified me. The best event, which I always tell this to all my friends because I find it very funny, I was embarrassed about it for a long time, so I never talked about it until like the past year. But as a kid, I was at my uncle's house one time, and my cousin chased me around the house with the Snowman and cornered me in the bathroom where I locked my door, and she had it placed in front of the door, and she would constantly play it. I can still feel it to this day, and it's horrifying thinking of that. I had a small memory where I was staying at my aunt's house, actually the one I recently visited, who has a Chamberlain Whisper Drive Plus, and I was staying in my upstairs bedroom. And I started hearing Snow Miser play out in the hallway, and I went outside and there was nothing. And I went back in my bedroom and I heard it in the closet, and I remember running out, going into where my mom sleeps, and yeah, that was a nightmare. I'm not sure if it was true or not, because I remember I woke up being in my mom's room. I'm not sure if I chickened out. But I think I was 13 at the time when this happened. So it was pretty weird. But yeah. So that was, I feel like there's something else I have to say. Oh dear, I'm missing something. I can't remember. I will go on later and kind of say, I'll probably do a separate video talking about how I got over the fear of animatronics, but that'll be for a different time, different day, probably in the far future. I think if I ever remember to do this, if I'm watching this video back a few years from now, I feel like I forgot something and I needed to add it. I might as well talk about an experience in the elementary school in the first grade. My first grade teacher, who I absolutely love, she had a dancing Christmas tree known as Rockin' Robbie, the original variant made by TL Toys, and I never liked that either. It sang Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree and all of that stuff. Yeah, I never liked it. I told her to keep it in the cupboard, and the kids would brag her and make her get it out, and I remember one time I ran down the hallway when she didn't listen to me and she played it in class. Just a little funny thing there to say. It's not that important, but I love doing these little story time videos. They're a lot of fun. So, I think that's it. There is my fear of animatronics as a kid. Now time to edit this video. The video I made before and in the video I made before that talking about childhood fans my grandmother had. So thank you very much.